Hey guys. Okay, so start it again. Take two. As you know, since my last video, I've been down in the lower illusion, the lower astral, down here on the earth plane. Now what it is what they've been doing is, they'd ship me from Christ to Christ to Christ to Christ. Sort of like in each town here on earth, you have a church with a priest in it. Well, here in the lower astral where I am, they stuck me down here, and I go from one town to another, and I stay in the church with the Christ. That's Jesus Christ that runs the show down here in these towns. And I'm going from Christ to Christ because I have to avoid this osmosis field in St. Lucian where they're doing this osmosis field, and it just screws up my brain. So they stuck me down here to do that. So I went to about 10 different Christs, if not more. 10 different towns. Some of them were awesome, and some of them, yeah, they were pretty unique, and all the Christs, as far as I know, didn't do me wrong. Some of them tried to help, some of them got scared and left, some of them kicked me out. Now I'm pissed because I want to go do my trainings in the illusion rooms. And the trains in the illusion rooms are, I build trains, make a train set in a St. Illusion. I like doing that. I can't have one here because it costs too fucking much. So I want to build one here. That's a different video. Plus, I'm making zombie rooms. I want to start a new one, and I need to get details and hammer out shit with the Christ that runs that with me, my buddy, my partner. We're making these illusions where you go in and shoot zombies and bad guys and get the shit scared out of you. That's what I want to do. I gotta go do that. But they stuck me down here for this fucking osmosis field. So I gotta sit down here for 6 to 8 weeks doing nothing. Nothing. So, moving from Christ to Christ to Christ. So, this has been going on for at least 3 weeks now. They say I got another 3 to 4 weeks to go. And, that's what I've been doing. I can tell my experiences with each one, but I ain't, because it's really just mundane stuff for me, just hanging out. Whatever. But, as of yesterday, and the other day, a couple days ago, well, I'll tell you. Now, Tia, the Sasquatch, he came around a couple times. I wasn't thinking about it or nothing. I don't even understand it, but the Sasquatch, he's in the illusion too. But he don't go into the churches and towns. He just sits in the darkness of the illusion in the woods. Now, the illusion, you can create anything, so he creates the woods, which he lives in, and that's where he goes. That's what he does. And he calls me, and I go see him. Or I don't. Like, this morning, he was calling me. I was awake. So my soul will go talk to him. I don't know. I don't actually know here what the hell's going on. A little bit, but not really. Now, he came one day, and I was having it up with Louie Man really bad, and I was running out of options of what to do with Louie Man, because he's still on me. And so Tia comes one day, and I'm sitting there talking to him, and he reaches out and he gives me a mushroom and two plants, 2 different plants and mushroom. And I can barely hear him, but he hands me them, and I'm like, alright, whatever. Then he hands me this, like a bowl. It was one of them gourds, a hollowed out gourd with a liquid in it. I don't understand it, but it was like a brown liquid. And so I'm like, oh, I got the impression was you grind up these 3 plants, you grind them up, add water, and you make like a juice. But it wasn't a good juice. Because we were talking about Loogie Man or something like that. But anyway, I gave him to the priestess up in St. Lucian. She came down and got the stuff to check it out to see what it was. So anyways, he goes away, whatever. Later on, Priestess calls back and says, this is a toxic, it's poison. You grind up these 3 plants and you make a poison. And I'm like, what the fuck? Is he trying to poison me, right? And I'm thinking, no. And I got what it was he was doing. Loogie Man sticks these tentacles in me. I grab them and I give them to Christ so he can deal with it. Now, Christ doesn't know Loogie Man is doing it because these things are see-through and you have to shift phases for Christ to see it. And it takes him a long time to see it. Plus, he's got to hook up into me to share what I'm seeing. You get it? Now, I got this juice from these plants, and it's a toxin. So what I did was, the next time Loogie Man came, I'm going to test this out. So I got a little paintbrush or whatever it was, a brush, marinating brush on like for meat and barbecue sauce. Got one of those I made. Loogie Man had his thing in me, in my throat, and up my ass, literally, fucking brutal. And I grabbed it. Spirit, this is all spirit. This is all spirit. I grabbed the loogie. I took the paint brush and dipped it in a little jar of poison. Pasted it on. Didn't tell anybody. So I put this poison on the loogie, thinking ain't nothing gonna happen. And sure as shit, within an hour, he was screaming and crying and freaking out. He was really freaking out. The doctors and everything up in the Zero where he was being held, sort of like a jail, but they stuck him in Zero. Found out that he's having seizures and he couldn't move for some reason. He's having seizures and he couldn't move, and he's just laying in bed going ah, right? So they wanted to know an antidote. They wanted an antidote. I'm like, fuck's sake, huh? So I called up, I hooked up, spiritually hooked up to Tia, the Sasquatch, and I go, what's the antidote? And I didn't know. Christ came down, explained it to Tia, what's the relief from the poison. And Tia says, eat greens and drink water. Oh, flex your muscles. So he goes, eat the greens, eat greens like spinach and green plants. Greens. And eat lots of those and flex your muscles. And that is the antidote to counteract the poison I put on them. So they did that, and I guess they made him a green drink, and I guess he got cured, but it was like an all-nighter. I got sleep, and this shit worked great. So I got me a whole bottle of it for any other loogies that come in my way. So anyway, I didn't want to give him the antidote because I'm a fuck thing. Anyway, watch my past videos if you need updates on any of that stuff. So that he does that. 2 more days go by, and I start thinking, why the hell am I down here? Why the hell? It doesn't make sense. Now the field is real. I go up to St. Lucian and I can't even see, can't think. All I hear is like static, like white noise in my head. So I come back down and I'm thinking something's wrong. This is not right. So I start saying to myself, truth revealed on the whole situation. What's going on? Truth revealed, truth revealed. Now they brought down my room, which was in St. Lucian. They brought it down so I could sleep in it, right? Because it's the room is specially made to keep noise out. So when I'm sleeping, I don't have to hear the fucking noise and all the crazy stuff. People can't see in. You can't see in. Especially made so it's a room that you can't see in. It costs a lot of money, I guess. But I got the funds so I can make it. And it's just a little room. It's not a big room. So I'm in there sleeping. I'm going truth revealed, trying to figure out, trying to get an answer inside to what is going on. As I'm saying that, All of a sudden I have a vision. There's 4 TV screens. 4 TV screens, and each screen is a person watching me. They're watching me. And I realized there's a camera in my room. And these 4 people are watching me. So I scream like, hey, I got 4 people watching me in Truth Revealed. What does that mean? I go, there's 4 people watching me. And she goes, my Tina, she goes, there's actually 6 people watching you. And I'm, well, why? And then I got it. He knows, he figured it out. I'm like, what did I figure out? I'm thinking, fuck, what's going on? So they stuck me down here. Turns out they were doing an op. They stuck me down here in the lower illusion, and they're putting me with all these different Jesus Christ in these different towns, because they know one of them is raping people. And I volunteered to go down and get fucking raped so they can convict him. This is what my soul did. I didn't know any of it here until weeks later, 3 weeks. I didn't know any of this in my brain. My soul and Jesus Christ up in St. Lucian, they were getting so many complaints down here, but they couldn't prove it. So they stuck me down here and my soul because they could work with me. So I go to all these different Christs and pretend that I'm hiding from the osmosis field, which is true. And then they just sat and waited with all the cameras waiting to see me get raped by Jesus Christ. And hopefully I can catch this guy. Now I guess there's over 2,000 people that this Christ did this to. And they know which one it is. But they ain't saying nothing. They didn't say a goddamn thing to me. Yesterday, loogies came in my throat and up my ass. But there were 2 different ones this time. I removed one with the poison. And then that was Loogie Man. So he's gone cataplegic, freaking out and having seizures. Then there was another one that came in. Started going on my ass and my throat. So I laced it. I'm thinking it's Loogie Man. I didn't put a good enough dose of poison on him. I didn't put a good enough dose of poison. That's why I thought he went back in my chakras and started doing all that. So I did it again. And all of a sudden, the Christ that they're after started seizuring. A different Christ with loogies. So I got another loogie Christ sticking things on my ass and my throat, and I caught them. They knew who it was, but they needed me to do something to catch that guy. Now my soul's choreographed all this with the real Jesus Christ, the good Jesus Christ, and I caught the bastard. So they're all happy. They grabbed him and took him off to jail, and they're elated. They're telling me all this. They're elated. They're freaking out. They're happy. My kids are screaming. They're telling me the details, and I can't hear really good because I'm in my room. Plus, I got energy coming through my head and all that, and I can barely hear them. Anyway, it turns out they said that when I applied the poison, he reacted, and that's what they wanted, something like that. Now, the thing that made it really easy for me was, and I didn't even know I was doing it, was that Tia came and gave me the poison to nail these motherfuckers, to get this guy. But I didn't know I had to get a guy. I was just using it to defend myself. Well, the big Christ knew all this was going to take place. They knew I could counteract and debilitate bad Christ. They didn't tell me there were 2. I was only fighting with one for the past 14 since last Christmas. Loogie Man. I'd only been fighting him. Turns out there was another Christ doing the same thing, and he was wanted, but they couldn't prove it. Now they proved it, and now he's gone. You get what I'm got? It's hard for me to explain this shit. So they got him. And what happened was, they were both. Loogie Man taught this Christ how to do the loogies. So now they want my secrets. So they're working together to get my secrets in a joint consciousness sort of thing. So when Loogie Man would do this to me, the other Christ would be learning so he could do it. And they could both be doing this to me constantly, sticking the loogies in me, trying to get my secrets. And they'd share what they get. And that was their little deal. Now, how long this other Christ was doing this to me, I have no idea. Only Christ knows. But I always thought it was just Loogie Man, but there's actually two guys doing it. Two Christs. One still a Christ. Loogie Man got busted. But they're still working together. And that's how it went. That's the update. They said I gotta stay down here for another week. I've been here all week, 2 weeks, to a couple days. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they're trying to work more. But I think all the Christs that I've seen down here, there are a bunch, like 10. They all know now. And other people, lots of people know now what I've been doing. They didn't know it before. So what we're trying to do is trying to catch bad Christ. I was, anyway. I didn't even know it. My soul made this op with Christ. You go down there, do your normal thing, and whichever Christ rapes you, we're going to set it up. So it's a sting, basically. That's what we did. And I didn't know that. I didn't know it at all. I thought I was just hiding from the osmosis field, right? So there you go, guys. And you know, I'd do it in a heartbeat. But I was mad at them for putting me down here. This bullshit. I figured this bullshit. They got dogs and animals living in St. Lucian in this osmosis field. And none of them are affected. Only me. Me and the bad people are affected. I'm affected because I'm in a physical flesh. And my negative ego, sorry, but I got one, everybody does. My negative ego, my abuse, my bitching, won't let me in St. Lucian osmosis field. That's how they know if they keep you in or keep you out. They're doing this for a long time. So I'm stuck down here. So now I think they made it shorter. Or they're saying they had a PSYOP laid out. 14 weeks osmosis field. Rich, you gotta go down there for 14 weeks. Well, I busted the guys, so now they can shorten it maybe. I don't know. I don't know how it's worked. I don't know all the finer Christ details of the but I busted the guy with poison from Sasquatch. And I didn't even know there was another guy. I didn't know there was an op or anything. The hardest part was I found out there was an op. Then I had to keep playing along here. As soon as I found out there was an op, I seen the 4 guys watching me on the screen. When I said truth revealed, I had a vision of 4 guys on 4 different, 1 guy on each TV, like a control room, and they were like teenage kids, man. That's what it looked like, and they were just watching me in my room, and I guess there's Christ around watching, but I don't know how they did it. But when I did the truth revealed, I found out their PSYOP that they were doing, and I was part of it. My soul was in agreement with Christ to go down here and do this op to catch these bad Christs. And that made me feel good, you know. It wasn't they just didn't throw me under the bus. I was actually partaking in something which they never did before. Well, they'd done on other Christs as I was fighting them, but this was different. This was like a big long term, like, you know, infiltrate the biker gang sort of shit. But I'm infiltrate, make yourself a victim down, or just make yourself an innocent person down there in all these, and I have to go from Christ to Christ to Christ. Feel them out. I did it. So it makes me feel good that they didn't just throw me in the bus and stick me down there, stick me down on the lower astral. And I got places to go now when I need to go. Down here I got good crates I could hang out with. One crate in one town, he saw the Sasquatch came. I woke up and I could hear him yelling, "You stay out of my town! You stay out of my town!" And it was Tia, and he was sitting in the illusion. And Grace was in the illusion. You stay out of my town! You stay out of my town! And yeah, I was gone. He kicked me out. It was Italian town, Italian part of town. I don't know where, but they were all Italians. Awesome people. I ate their king. It was a good time. But Grace, he freaked the fuck right out. After he saw that, he didn't know what to do. And then I go and sit with the Sasquatch. I go and sit with Tia out in the woods, and Grace is going, "You're out of your goddamn mind, boy! You're nuts, you're nuts!" He goes, "Oh, no, no." They kicked me out of that town. They didn't kick me out. He just couldn't deal with that shit. Ain't no one seen, no one knows about the Sasquatch, right? Oh, and there was another thing. I tried to get with a spot where the tree moved out in this reality. I was out where to take pictures of my birds. Tia, I'm hoping it was him, moved this great big log in the tree. Now I know it moved paranormally, so I'm assuming it was Tia and a wood knock. I heard wood knocking. I'm assuming it was Tia from the illusion that did this, like a ghost moves your shit in your house. So to one of the Christs, I'm trying to get Tia to move it again and get video of him like a ghost. You know when you go in the woods and you see the lights flying around in the woods? Well, that's what I'm trying to get. But I'm trying to get a shot, a physical shot of a Sasquatch at this area. Christ told him, he went back to his realm, told his people, what he goes, I can't, Tia, this individual, can't come into this reality. Well, he don't know how. Come into our reality. So he went back to ask how he can get to see me in reality. He went back, Christ told me, he goes, needs the coordinates. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So, I have to go on Google and get the longitude and latitude of the spot. And I go, why the fuck does Sasquatch need a longitude and latitude? He goes, for the fucking machines. It turns out, Tia came back and said they got machines that send them here. Literally. Sasquatch has got machines that send here. Okay? They need to know the location to where to send them. Okay? I think it's a little more complex than that, but basically this is it. So I got the longitude, latitude, gave it to Tia. Tia took it back to his people, and I asked if I could trade for a machine, something for a machine. No, can't trade. Then Christ goes back rich. There's 28 machines, and they're handed out a long time ago to a bunch of different races. And the human race was one of them. The Sasquatches were one of them, and a couple more races. And what this thing does is, it transports you from the illusion or your dimension to Earth reality. So you can, this is what Christ told me. So, and this is based on a lot of shit. It opens portholes from their dimension to our dimension, and they can come through these machines. Well, whoever made these things a long time ago, another race of aliens, handed them out to all these different species and said, have at it. And that's why we're having these things today. Christ is telling me these machines, I think they do more than just jump dimensions, maybe even like time machines. But he said, humans got like 5, Sasquatch got a bunch, or I don't know how many, maybe it was just, I don't know how many races. He said there was a bunch of different races that got these machines, and they've been using them ever since. It's not a lot. You got like a few of them, each one of these races. Sasquatch know how to use theirs, where they want to go and do things. Other races, aliens, do the same thing. And we do it too. We do it too. We have these devices. I don't know how many we have. The government, they didn't give one to fucking me. Or the, you know, like the Pope, way back when, shit like that. These things were given to the heads of state. Maybe has to do with Jesus Christ, way back in them days. Like the Ark of the Covenant, time machine fucking things. I have no idea. I never got that far into it. Christ just said there was 28 of these machines and they were handed out to different races. Basically have at it. For our own and their own development. Evolutionary development. Well, you know, ours have been covered up and we were made to be stupid, ignorant of everything in our development. But it's going on. Christ said that's exactly what's going on. Tia don't know how to naturally come into this reality, so he's got to go back to his world, talk to his people, and we're going to find out if he can come here in this area where I am. I'm going to try and see if he can manifest, or they can beam him here. Sort of like, you know, beam me up Scotty, well, beam me down to Rich, you know. And I'll film everything if it happens. I'm praying, I'm hoping. God damn, that'll be cool. You know, just to see it. Even to see a breach light, you know, lights in the woods. That'd be cool. Anything would be cool. So I'm going to try it. That's what Christ told me. That's what Jesus Christ told me. Take it or leave it. I'm going to play with it. I'm going to take it to where it goes. Let's see what happens. Alright, guys. I'll try to find out more about these machines, okay?